So, Scott Talley here, the founder of Network in Action, and we're very blessed to have with me today, this afternoon, Counselor Annie Scott, my dear friend of about 4 years now. It's already been like 4 years. Can you believe that?
I know, it doesn't even seem
Awesome.
like it.
Luckily, I don't say customer because Annie is a defense attorney. So, if I ever need to stay out of Orange, I know who I'm going to call.
That's right.
Tell us what's going on. So, we'll talk a little about COVID-19, but tell everybody a little bit about what you do, what you specialize in first.
Okay, so I specialize in criminal law, mainly criminal defense. I represent, folks who've been put into orange or yellow or some of these other colors that the jails have. You get charged with a crime of possession of some sort of drug. You get into a little spat with your loved one, or maybe maybe even a stranger. You get pulled over for driving while intoxicated, especially in a time like this, or anything else that is a violation of the laws of the state of Texas.
Call Annie Scott.
That's right. Call Annie Scott.
Is it like the movies where like you get a call 11 o'clock and you like got to get out of bed and go do something, or how does that work?
Well, those calls can happen. So
Yep.
if, for instance, your loved one is picked up, and taken to jail, and maybe there is an issue of a bond, some bond issues, or maybe a bail not being set, you're going to want to call an attorney at 11 p.m. or midnight or after. You may want to have that attorney there when that person is going before the magistrate judge, and the bail is going to be set.
And that usually happens pretty soon after someone's arrested, or within a few hours, maybe?
That does happen pretty soon. It's normally about the first 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
You're gonna be before the magistrate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you must have a million crazy stories. We won't get into all those right now, but what led you to defense work?
Well, I grew up, in a relatively small town, and I'd see a lot of people there on my neck of the woods that were always getting in trouble with the law. I won't go into maybe the reasons why that was happening, but it was happening a lot. And so I got to see that firsthand. And I wanted to be there to help and to, alleviate that situation as best I could. My motto is, let me help you get your life back. And back when I was young, all I wanted to do was help those people get their lives back.
That's
and
awesome.
So that's why I became a criminal defense lawyer.
That's awesome. Awesome. So a lot of people segue out of criminal defense work, right, at some point, and no, I got it backwards.
I don't think so. I think once you're in it, you're kind of in it. I love this. If I had something else, I couldn't even think of what it would be. I'd do the same thing again if I was given that opportunity.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. We all know we're adults here. It's not always about justice on, some things that, there's always two sides of the story, literally.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get in trouble when they really don't, shouldn't be, or weren't in trouble, or, so people make mistakes. So,
you said the right thing, because anybody can get in trouble. I have folks that aren't in the legal community that say, how can you defend someone who's been charged with this or who's done this thing? But imagine the person who gets a summons, which is a notice that you've been charged with a crime, on your door. Imagine yourself getting that on your door.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's for, but it could be something as simple as, stealing something out of a grocery or a clothing store. Now, you know that you didn't do that, but when you go to tell that to the prosecutor or the cops, they're not going to believe you.
Right.
You need a criminal defense attorney to clear your name. Sometimes it's as simple as mistaken identity. Sometimes you can actually prove you weren't even in town, but that doesn't stop that charge from coming, and you're going to have to fight it. And the only way you're going to be able to do it successfully is with the lawyer.
Yeah, it's interesting. So right now we're in the middle of this COVID-19, and everybody's on lockdown, and I'm hearing reports of crime going up. What tips would you have for people? Or have you heard of that or experienced any of that? Have you seen any differences really?
Well, I have heard of some people out there allegedly committing crimes. I've heard of burglaries happening, vehicles in the neighborhood. I've heard of some of the businesses that have, closed down and sheltered their businesses. I've heard of some break-ins. So from the, person standpoint, I think we all know the general safety tips to keep your items of value out of sight so that you don't tempt anyone to break into your car or to break into your business or anything like that. On the criminal defense side, of course, if that person is charged, then I would hope that they're going to seek a criminal defense lawyer. Now, that my job is not to prove it didn't happen. That's a misconception that everybody believes, and that's why they ask the question, how can you do that? Well, it's not that I'm trying to prove that it didn't happen. I just want to make sure that the Constitution is abided by and that the laws and the procedures are abided by so that that person gets a fair shake in the whole thing.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Well, you're one of the few people, if not the only person, who under quarantine the last couple of weeks looks healthier and better and more rested and more relaxed. So this is working for you.
It is working for me. I am loving it, like McDonald's.
That's
honestly,
awesome.
I have still been working from home. This is my home office here.
Yeah.
And I come into the office every morning, Monday through Friday, about 8:30 or 9, and I stay here until about 5 or 5:30. With a lunch break, of course. And, I'm just working. There are still people out there that need my help. While your court may be closed, your case is not over. And so I'm hoping that, I'm able to help the folks that I already represent and perhaps help others who may find themselves in trouble. Unfortunately, a lot of people are getting cabin fever. And whereas you have stayed at home for the first 7 to 14 days, you're kind of, some of these folks are tired, they're frustrated, they don't have a job anymore. And unfortunately, that leads to some bad decision making. And so that's why I'm here. And that's why I don't get to take a time off.
Well, I know that you feel different. I hope that none of our Network in Action members or families need you. But if they do, how do they reach you by phone and email?
If they'd like to reach me by phone, my office number is 281-846-5020. And my email, if you choose to email, is Scott, SCOTTA08@gmail.com.
ScottA08@gmail.com.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today. Keep up the good fight. We need you.
Absolutely.
All right. Stay healthy. Keep the family healthy.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.